what we are basically doing is we are solving one of the most prevalent issues in the cryptocurrency industry, which is actually rug pulls.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
The Keystone wallet is the wallet that you want to be using to keep your crypto safe. Whether you are a Bitcoin maxi or an altcoin lover, it is perfect for you. Easy to use, 3 secure elements, and integrates easily with MetaMask, Kepler, and dozens of other extension wallets. Get one now to keep your crypto safe and secure. Go to bit.ly/CryptoRichKeystone. This is an audio recording of an X space courtesy of thecoinrepublic.com, the go-to place where you can keep up to date with what's happening in the crypto space.
Yes, Rich, great talking to you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. This is our second conversation actually, because you were a guest on my channel maybe about a year or so ago it was. But by the way, I forgot to say this. You can find me on YouTube, on ODYSEE, and of course X, 3Speak, BitChute. I think that's it, and Podbean,
yes.
And Rumble. Yes. So we did a video before, and I think you had just launched, but this is some time on. Do you want to start by just briefly introducing yourself, and then we can get into Biokript?
Yes. Thank you very much for having me. Basically, as you know, my name is Adnan and I'm the CEO of Biokript. And what we are doing basically is we are launching a pro trading platform, which is basically directed towards pro traders. And what we are basically doing is we are solving one of the most prevalent issues in the cryptocurrency industry, which is actually rug pulls. So unlike the rest of the platforms out there, such as our competitors, for example, Axiom platform, Trojan, and the rest of those platforms that are actually targeting pro traders, none of those platforms have any capabilities to actually prevent rug pulls and to protect the users from actually losing funds. So during the past couple of years, we've been, doing it.
Sorry, Adnan. Sorry, excuse me. Just if anybody doesn't know what a rug pull is, if there's any no coiners here or new coiners, and this audio will go out on my channel at some point as well. What a rug pull is? Do you want to say what that is?
Yes, rug pull is basically when the malicious dev basically just dumps on his community and just basically leaves them hanging. He's gonna leave them with a worthless token. And especially in the Solana ecosystem, it's prevalent. Majority of the pump fund is actually notorious for that. Like 99% of the projects out there are basically rug pulls. If you look at the projects out there, they're gonna be out there for a couple of hours, and after that, that's it. They're gone. So what Biokript Pro is gonna be doing is we're gonna be offering 2 ways to protect our traders. First one is basically listen to the liquidity pool. Any major changes in the liquidity pool, automatically the trader is going to be alerted. And second is we're going to be having a stop loss. So none of the platforms out there, including Axiom, they have a stop loss feature. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be having a stop loss feature on our platform where actually once the liquidity pool starts draining fast, automatically the stop loss is going to be kicked in. And the user's funds, basically, user is going to be able to sell his token and he's going to be able to avoid this rug pull. So this is one of the most prevalent problems in the crypto industry, especially with those people who are actually trading in Solana ecosystem. I could tell you this: if anybody was trading, a Solana meme token, they've experienced rug pull one way or the other.
Oh yes.
So everybody out there experienced rug pull, so that's why Biokript is offering a solution to actually help them basically keep their funds safe and have a safe trading experience.
Okay, all right. Let me make sure I understand this right. So I'm going to launch, and this is hypothetically, okay, crypto rich token on the Solana blockchain, and a rug pull would be, let's say I create 10 million tokens. I release 5 million into the market, people start buying it up, and then the 5 million that I have I then either all at once or very, very slowly leak them into the market, thus increasing the supply and depressing the price. And then meanwhile, all those people that have bought that token with Solana, well, I've pocketed the Solana. And then I can go and use that to buy, I don't know, some other meme coin or something. So that's how a rug pull works. And what you're saying with Biokript, that if the price drops below a certain level, then you stop trading on that token. Is that correct?
Basically, what we're going to be having a function. So, for example, let's say token is trading, let's say at currently, let's say at 250,000 market cap.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say if you want to protect your assets, and let's say you want to set up the stop loss at, let's say, 100,000. Okay.
Yes.
So if the token drops, reaches that level, automatically it's going to sell, and you're going to get whatever Solana you have, you're going to get it back. But as you know, in the rug pulls, once the rug pull starts going on, it goes all the way basically to zero. Basically from, let's say, 100,000 market cap all the way to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 market cap.
Yeah. So at what level? How do you decide at what level?
Well, that's going to be up to the traders. Yeah, like same thing. Like, basically, we're going to give them the tools in order for them to be protected. So now they can use those tools however they want to use them. So, but any experienced trader, they'll know at what level are they going to be setting up those stop losses. And if they use our tools the way they are supposed to be used, they're gonna be avoiding those rug pulls. And
right.
Any professional trader will tell you, do not ever trade without stop loss. They're gonna tell you that. And unfortunately, right now, none of those professional trading platforms on Solana ecosystem, they have actually that function.
Okay. All right. Now you said it's pro trading. You're launching your pro platform. So is there an amateur or regular platform?
Yes, we were basically, the way we did it is basically we had we already launched our Sharia compliant platform on ODYSEE. We already launched our platform on Solana as well. And this platform is basically directed towards pro traders. Okay. So that's basically what we are doing. We've learned, during those past couple of years, what works and what doesn't. And we are focusing all our energy towards this pro trading platform because, we know what works. We know what doesn't work. And right now, basically, we are going to be offering all those traders, the pro trading tools in order to actually succeed in this trading business.
Okay. And just from a user point of view, what did you discover works and what did you discover doesn't work?
Well, for example, as I said, majority of the people, especially in Solana ecosystem, basically what they are doing is they're trading, meme coins. And perfect example for that is obviously, the rise of platforms such as PumpFun,
Yes.
So PumpFun, they're gonna be actually releasing like thousands of tokens on a daily basis. And if anybody was, interacting with PumpFun platform, they're going to see, basically those tokens, they're going to have a lifespan of about a couple of hours, if that. Some of those tokens even have a lifespan of a couple of minutes, and that's it.
Yes.
Rug pull, and that's it. So we've seen that, and we've also experienced that, and since we've, found out, that's basically what and how those traders want to interact with the project. What we want to do is basically give them the tools, the right tools, so they could actually trade in the most successful manner possible.
Okay. And then you said something about launching Sharia compliant platforms. Now, for people who are unfamiliar with what that is, please say what that is.
Yes, basically what we have is, that's actually how we started a couple of years ago, a Sharia compliant platform. And our whole project is basically a community-led project, and whenever we have any voting or any decision to be made, it's everything, we let the community decide the path of our future. So a couple of years ago, that's basically how we started. We started basically as a Sharia compliant platform on BSC.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we did, we actually expanded onto the Solana platform as well, because that's where actually some of our communities were actually saying that's where majority of demand is going to be. And right now, what we did is we had a voting with amongst our community to decide, the best path of action, for our project and for the future of Biokript. Basically, this is what we actually ended up with. We actually we learned what works, we learned what doesn't work, and basically this is where we are at right now. Our current platform, basically that we are actually going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks, it's patented. It's patented, and we are actually one of the only projects that's actually backed by Microsoft. So we actually have a huge advantage and huge benefit. And that has been a great blessing, to have actually such a big, giant, technological giant, backing you and providing you all the infrastructure, all the servers, basically free of charge.
Right. Well, I'm going to come to Microsoft in a moment, because I think it's a blessing and a possible curse, but we shall come to that. Now, for people who don't know what Sharia compliance means, is that the Biokript exchange is compliant with Islamic law governing investments. Now,
but just to be sure, I want to make sure that this current pro platform is not Sharia compliant.
Right.
You understand? So
what's
the trading platform is not Sharia compliant.
Okay, so what's the difference between the one that is Sharia compliant and the one that isn't compliant? And for the benefit of non-Muslims.
First and foremost, on our pro trading platform, we are not going to be having basically control what tokens could be tradable. Okay.
Right.
So users on our platform, and that's actually one of the main demands of our community. They needed basically a wide variety of tokens to be tradable on the platform. Okay, so right now on a pro trading platform, there are going to be thousands of tokens that people can trade. People basically, we're going to be using the Jupiter aggregator, and basically we are going to be getting the best price possible for our traders. And all of those, basically through Jupiter aggregator, we're going to be actually exposed to all of the pairs basically in Solana ecosystem. So thousands and thousands of tokens that are tradable in Solana, basically they're going to be available on our Biokript Pro platform. So that's basically what it is. Okay, now, but by being Sharia compliant means basically we have to stick with the strict Islamic principles, which mean basically tokens and theme behind the tokens. Basically, they need to be, first and foremost, they need to be ethical, and the most important thing, those tokens should not be actually involved in any type of interest, any type of like unethical activities, such as, for example, gambling, pornography, anything like that. And there's a lot of projects, unfortunately, especially on PumpSwap. They are basically promoting some type of those types of behavior and those types of projects as well. So basically, that's the main difference. On one end, we can actually vet the projects that would be actually listed on our platform. And on the other, we don't have any control over it. All the projects basically on Solana ecosystem will be actually available on our pro trading platform.
Right. Okay. So then, instead of going to Jupiter or Pump Fund or what's it on Radix, I think I could go to Biokript if I wanted to buy a particular Solana token.
Yes. And unlike our competitors, they are charging basically 1% trading fee.
Yeah.
What we're going to be doing is we are going to be offering, the lowest fees in the industry, which is going to be 0.50% trading fees. And on top of that, we have a profit sharing system where 50% of all the trading fees are going to be distributed back to our token holders.
Okay. So you have a token. And that is, what is it? BKPT. That's the token. So people hold BKPT in their Solana wallet, I assume. And by holding BKPT, half the trading fees that the platform collects will be given to those BKPT holders.
Yes, yes, but
Is that correct?
to correct you over there, there's going to
In
be
the form of BKPT?
in the yes, they are going to be getting the rewards in the form of the token. The token token. Biokript Pro token is going to be having a different ticker, which is actually BIOK. So
Okay,
basically,
BIOK.
once they're holding that token, automatically at the end of the month, they're going to be basically getting 50% of all the trading profits generating by trading platform.
Right, but won't that depress the price of BIOK? Because all these people getting more and more BIOK tokens?
Well, actually, in a way, it's not going to depress the price because we're going to be using all the profits generated by our platform to actually execute a buyback on a platform of the tokens. And those tokens, once we buy them, it's actually going to increase the price. And we're going to be sending those tokens back to our community. You understand? So basically, the fees that we are going to be getting on our platform, let's say the fees are going to be. So we're going to use that Solana at the end of the month, and we're going to execute a buyback of Biokript tokens. And that's, if we have significant number of traders on our platform, it's going to be a significant number of fees. You understand?
Yeah.
So what's going to be happening is, at the end of every month, you're going to be using that Solana to buy back the Biokript tokens and distribute them back to our token holders.
Okay, got it. Okay. Will you be burning any?
Yes, we also have a token burn. So basically, out of those, as I said, 50% of token, 50-50 token split, what's going to happen is 10% of all of those tokens are going to be sent to a token burn wallet. And once the price basically reaches 100% of previous price, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be burning 1% of all the tokens that we actually collected. Okay, so basically we're going to start burning first 1% of the tokens, and each time that the token price doubles, they're going to be executing those token burns on a continuous basis.
Oh wow! Every time it doubles. So if it goes from 1 cent to 2 cent, you'll burn 1%. Then it goes from 2 cent to 4 cents, you'll burn 1%, and then at 4 cent and 8 cents, and so on and so on. Yes.
Yes, exactly like that. So basically, that's what's that gonna actually stimulate is basically as the price goes up, the supply is gonna be going down, and automatically that's gonna be actually generating the demand. And I think the Biokript is the Bitcoin is the perfect example of that. Bitcoin has 21 million tokens, and there will never be more. That's why over time there's always demand for Bitcoin because people want more and more, but there's less and less in supply. So with that, basically there will be something similar, but even more amplified because as there's more demand, there's going to be less supply because each time the price goes up, you're going to be burning more and more tokens.
Okay, but that sort of depends upon people using your platform, which depends upon people knowing about your platform. And Adnan, it's such a crowded field. There's so many exchanges.
Yes.
What are you going to do in such a crowded space?
Yes, you're right. And as I mentioned earlier, what we're going to be doing to actually stand out amongst our competitors is we're going to be offering them some of the functions that those competitors are already they are not having. So as I said, the first and foremost, will protect them from rug pulls. That's one of the things. And that is one of the most prevalent problems in today's Solana trading ecosystem, rug pulls. It's basically I can tell you this, whoever was trading Solana tokens, they've experienced rug pull. I can tell you that 100%. That's one thing. So none of our competitors are
Adnan, you're talking about me, right? I've experienced rug pulls on Solana.
You've experienced that.
Tokens, right?
You've experienced rug pulls.
Yes. To my shame.
Yes, I mean that's I could tell you that that's normal. That's because there's so many tokens and so many people taking advantage of the system. Everybody has experienced it one way or
Yeah,
the other. You know, that's one way. Basically, we're going to be offering functions that our competitors are not offering. That's one thing. Second thing is they're going to be offering them the lowest fees possible. And I could
yeah,
tell you this: pro traders basically they are out there to make money. Okay,
yes,
so the most important thing is basically any pro trader when they're looking at the platform, they're going to be looking at first and foremost fees. How much fees is the platform taking? Second, functionalities, and as I said, one of the main functionality is going to be the rug protection feature. And third, the speed and latency of the platform. And we're gonna third point that I'm gonna mention is basically we're gonna be offering them all that through our Microsoft Azure infrastructure. Our platform is gonna be actually running on dedicated Azure nodes, which are gonna be actually the fastest in the industry. So whoever comes and tries our platform, it's gonna be basically comparable to the speed and efficiency of a centralized platform. But we are going to be actually, which is the most important thing, we are going to be actually decentralized, since the users are always in full control of their own funds in a safe and secure decentralized manner, while they are going to be having access to centralized trading experience.
okay, all right. But the servers won't be, well, they'll be centralized, and that will give you incredible speed and reliability using Microsoft Azure's servers. Now, why is Microsoft doing all this for free?
Well, one of the things is basically they are actually betting on the projects that could actually succeed in the future. And we are basically one of those projects. So basically, if we succeed, since we already have the whole infrastructure set up on the servers, once we succeed, most likely we are going to stay over there. And once we stay over there, obviously, after everything expires, the sponsorship and everything, we're going to start paying them regular server fees and everything else. And as I said, we are one of those promising projects that Microsoft has seen, and that's why basically they gave us access to all the infrastructure and everything else in order to actually support us.
Right. Okay. All right. They like what you're doing. They're cashing in. They're hoping that it will grow, and then they'll get a return on their investment. Okay. Now, the only thing is, I suppose my suspicion of a big corporate behemoth like Microsoft, I mean, they're no better than a bank. And the whole thing about Bitcoin is about being my own bank. So how do I know that Microsoft does have this alliance with you because it's on your website, biokript.com, BIOKRIPT. But isn't it a bit dangerous getting in with a great big vampiric corporation like Microsoft?
I mean, not really, especially in terms of name recognition and everything, because they've been anything but helpful to us. That's one thing. Second thing is we the whole point is this: they want us to succeed. If we succeed, they're gonna get their return as well. If you don't succeed, obviously they don't have anything in return. You understand? So
Yes.
they really want us to succeed. That's basically what it is. And that is the most important thing. They're actually selecting only highly promising projects, such as our Biokript project, to actually give them the access to all the infrastructure and give them access to this partnership.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And it is a bit, BlackRock. I'm no fan of BlackRock. They're buying up Bitcoin. That doesn't make Bitcoin bad. It just means they're kind of interested in Bitcoin too. So I get it. Now, does the platform have KYC?
Our platform doesn't have a KYC. Our platform, pro trading platform, will be basically non-KYC, because the most important thing about our pro trading platform is we are non-custodial, which means we do not hold any funds. Okay, so now unlike centralized platforms where they're actually holding billions and billions of users' funds, by law they're actually obligated to perform KYC on their customers. Okay, so
Yeah.
so for example, if you go to let's say you go to Coinbase,
Yes.
let's say you deposit $100,000 to trade over there, they're gonna ask KYC information right away, because obviously they are required by the law to, if something goes wrong, to actually present this identifying information to the authorities, basically who got this account, where did they get the money, and everything else.
Okay, but couldn't there come a time maybe where the authorities will force you to institute KYC? Because you ask for people's emails. I mean, Pump Fund doesn't ask for people's emails.
Yes. So obviously, this is, we are in the industry that's constantly changing. Okay.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we are not obligated by law to actually ask for KYC information. And as I said, the main distinguishing factor is that we are non-custodial exchange. So it will be very different if we actually hold the users' funds. If we have custody of the users' funds, that will be very different. But since each user has 100% control of their own funds, basically we are not obligated to ask that user for KYC information. Now, as you said, anything could change in the future. And I've even heard some proposals that actually decentralized platform, from the governments, basically could be actually liable and ask for the users' KYC information. But as of right now, there isn't anything. No platform is obligated to actually ask for KYC information.
Right. Okay. All right. And where are you based and where do you operate out of?
Well, we are incorporated in the United States, but our whole team is basically decentralized. We have people in the United States. Me, myself, I'm in Bosnia. We have our developers are in Pakistan and India. Basically, we're operating on decentralized principles, and we are all over the world.
Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. And I know in the UK, people cannot access pump.fund unless they use a VPN.
Yes.
But there's no such restriction on biokript.com, which then gives people access to Pump Fund, unless at some point the government here starts restricting, asking ISPs to restrict biokript.com, but then there's always VPNs.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you don't keep any, I don't suppose you can keep any records of customers or which countries they're in, restricted nations, traditionally like North Korea or Iran?
Right, as of right now, no, we are not obligated. And I could tell you, what's going to happen. Usually when the platform grows so big, governments come after them, later on. And as you mentioned, PAMFund is one of those examples.
Yes.
PAMFund, basically at one point they went out of control. They had their live stream feature where people were doing all kinds of things on it, And I even think, a couple of people, committed suicide. And that's why, a lot of governments came down on them. And I believe after this incident, the UK came with a decision to actually ban it.
Yes. No, I get it. Okay. Now, you've got a token BIOK that's launching, and then there's also BKPT. Is there going to be any relationship to that? Can people swap the BKPT for BIOK? Will they get BIOK anyway?
What we are having is basically our community will be getting, because they've been with us for a long time, and we are always community-led project. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having an airdrop. Whoever is holding a token, they're going to be having an airdrop new token to the wallet automatically. Okay. And when you mentioned, we already have a bridge on our platform, so anybody could basically swap their tokens back and forth with any other tokens on our Soul platform. But yeah, we always, as I said, we are a community-led project. We always, listening to what our community is saying. We always, seeking their feedback. We are listening to their advice. And as I said, one of the reasons actually we are launching this project is basically, as we said, the community asked for more projects to actually be listed on our platform. And basically, this is what we are doing. We are delivering that. Where right now we are going to have thousands of projects actually listed and tradable on Biokript Pro.
Right. Okay. Okay. And when is Biokript Pro launching? Are you doing a TG, a token generation, or an ICO
Yes.
or anything like that?
Basically, what we are going to be doing, we are going to be doing a pre-sale in the next couple of weeks, but we are not going to be doing anything until our platform is done. What we are doing with the platform is basically doing some testing right now. Once we make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to be working, we're going to start our launch, pre-sale, and everything else. So, but hopefully, if everything works out within the next couple of weeks, we should be starting that.
Yeah, and I'm just looking on your website, and I just want people to know that we're recording this on Saturday, the 9th of August, and the pre-sale starts in 10 days, which would be the 19th of August. So you've got time to find out about the pre-sale and find out about this project and look into it and do your own due diligence. And when will the proper sale be?
Well, basically, what we're going to be doing it, we're going to be having it on our own website, as you can see over there on the site, and we're also going to be having it on a pink sale. So we already have a large number of calls and YouTubers and influencers that we previously worked, and we're going to be basically engaging with all of them to actually spread the word about Biokript and everything else.
Right. Okay. Because that's really, really important. And then you have Telegram, Discord, X.
Yes. Basically, we have all of those social media channels. We also on Facebook. We also on Instagram. So we are very active and engaging in all of our social media. So okay. whoever wants to get in touch with us, we have very engaging Telegram community. So any of the questions or any of the issues could be actually addressed in our Telegram group.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate that because I have asked you some difficult questions, Adnan. And I was even rude about your partner, Microsoft.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need those hard questions, that nobody's willing to ask.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, is there anything else to cover that we haven't talked? Actually, what's on the roadmap? So you launch the Pro platform for Solana, and then are there any plans with either platforms to move on to other blockchains?
Basically, yes, we are going to start with Solana as of right now because majority of our community actually that's basically what they asked for. So if the demand, because Solana is pretty big ecosystem, there are millions of traders on Solana, and if our community requests the other chains that we want to integrate, our developers are going to be more than willing to do so. But as of right now, we're going to be focusing on Solana because there are thousands of projects out there that are basically launched on a daily basis. And all of those projects will be available on Biokript Pro.
Okay. And what about private investors and how are you funding this currently?
Well, basically, as of right now, we are funding it with our own company funds. That's basically how we're funding it. And to increase and actually spread the awareness during our pre-sale and during our launch, this is why we're doing this raise. So all of the people who are going to be actually investing with us, they're going to be doing so through pre-sale or through our own website. And all of those funds will be used later on to actually for future marketing, and most importantly, part of that those funds will be used to actually onboard pro traders to come onto our platform and start using it and start trading.
Okay, how are you going to onboard them? What will you do to get the word out?
Well, one of the most important things is we're going to be engaging with influencers who have that type of audience, who have that type of community, who actually pro traders mostly dealing on and trading on Solana ecosystem. So we already have a couple of influencers in mind. We already actually in talks with them. So we're going to be basically doing a promotion with them and marketing. Right. Second way is we're going to be doing a lot of paid ads on SoulScan, paid ads on CoinGecko, paid ads on CMC, where a lot of those pro traders who are actually looking for new and promising projects actually actually visited those websites. And one of the other ways that we are going to be doing it is actually through Telegram call groups. There's a couple of call groups that are actually directed specifically for pro traders. So that is the way that we are going to be attracting and actually getting those traders to come onto our platform and test it out.
Okay. I mean, that's always a challenge, getting the word out. But I think, Adnan, now is the time, because we are in the last 4 months, perhaps, of the 4-year cycle. Because it's usually Bitcoin's all-time high, and then we can change the conversation a little bit if you want, unless there's anything else you want to cover about Biokript. But usually the all-time high for Bitcoin is about 35, 36 months after the the cycle low, which would be about October, November this year. So fingers crossed things will get exciting. Every 4 years this happens. Okay, anything you want to let us know about Biokript?
Yes, basically, as you just mentioned right now, we've been in the industry, for like 3 or 4 years right now, and we've seen ups and downs in the whole industry, as a whole.
Yes.
And right now we came to that point where the market is gonna be going parabolic, especially as you mentioned in the beginning. Once the alt season starts, that'll be basically a life-changing time for a lot of people. So,
indeed,
as you mentioned, people are once this Bitcoin dominance drops, under the 60% threshold, all that money is going to be flowing into all those major altcoins, and then after maybe a couple of months after that, all of those there's going to be reconciliation into the smaller cap altcoins, and at the end it's going to be those micro cap altcoins, and once those coins starts going up, it'll be like 100, 1000x, maybe even 10,000x for some projects.
Yes, and that's what's happened before. Definitely. Could this time be different? Who knows? And what Adnan and I are saying, it's not guaranteed. So don't be going to putting all your money in some pump and dump meme coin on Solana, right? Do your own due diligence. Okay. And
yes, and that is what you mentioned right now. That is very important, because you gotta understand there are a lot of scam projects out there. Unfortunately, anybody could make a token. PumpFund made it so easy. It's why there are thousands of projects out there. But what I personally believe, the project that actually have a solid team behind them, the project that actually has some kind of utility behind it, those projects are going to be succeeding this altcoin season.
Yes, and I think the other thing, Adnan, is longevity. Because you say you've been around 4 years. Is that when Biokript the platform first launched?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, about 2000. It was like May 2022. That's when actually we started, developing, working on our project and everything else. So like almost 3.5 years. But me, by myself personally, I've been in the industry since 2015.
Right. Okay. But the fact that the project has been around so long, and you've been through the bear market, and you're still here, well, I think that I personally think that counts for something. Now, the other thing,
exactly.
The other warning for people, right? And this is no disrespect to you, but it's something people got to bear in mind, because there are scams, as you mentioned, but there are also shams. And what I mean by a sham is a project that fails. Because businesses in the legacy world, not every single business wins. It happens in life. Businesses fail. And it could be that, no matter how great and wonderful this project is or any other project, there could be all sorts of risks. Black swan events, we don't know.
Of course. But the most important thing is, no matter what it is, you will actually fail once you quit. So if you quit, that's basically when you fail. But one of the most important things is just, to be persistent, to keep going. And if you're doing the right thing, you're going to succeed eventually.
Absolutely. Well, it might be like, for example, I'm just making numbers up, right? That if I invest in 10, and maybe venture capital companies do this as well, invest in 10 projects, lose 9, but the 10th one was a really good one, and then
Yes.
make way more than you invested in than you lost on the other 9. Okay.
Yes.
Now, are you a trader yourself?
Yes. Yes.
Ah,
Not on a daily basis, but I do trade here and there.
okay. And then will the trading platform have all the sort of features that traders want, like all the indicators, RSI, and
Yes.
I don't
Yes. We're
trade.
going to all the pro trading features that the professional trader will need to use on with trading any Solana token. So yes, we're going to be having everything, including we're going to be having all the bubble maps. We're going to be actually telling you if the token is how many people hold the token, the percentage, and everything. What are the chances of basically this group of people dumping the token and basically rug pulling? We're going to be having, as I said, stop loss feature that none of our competitors are having, and as we go, we're going to be implementing many other features that actually our community asks for, and that basically that are going to be beneficial to us and our community.
Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. Now, Adnan, as a trader and as someone who's been in the industry, I'm going to ask you some difficult questions, speculative questions.
Yes.
How high Bitcoin this cycle?
Well, this cycle, I believe it's most likely about 250,000. So the range-wise, I would say 250 to 500. Okay, and once we see 250,000, I think a lot of people are going to start taking profits, and that's once, as I mentioned earlier, and as you mentioned, the profits from Bitcoin will be taken out and reinvested, because smart trader, they're not going to be sitting on cash, because they know dollar or any other fiat currency is losing value, so they're going to be taking that money and reinvesting back into the altcoins. And now we're going to see a huge altcoin season starting with those top altcoins. And then again, as I mentioned, there's going to be probably maybe a couple of months, or maybe even a couple of weeks, where prices are going to be going parabolic.
Yes.
And again, they're going to be, a lot of people are going to start taking their profits and getting into the smaller altcoins. And that's going to be basically the third stage. First Bitcoin, then top altcoins, then smaller cap altcoins. And the last stage is going to be micro cap altcoins. And those, as I said, if you basically pick up the right project, and that project basically, as you mentioned, if $1 billion gets, invested from Bitcoin into the Ethereum, there's going to be some movement. But if not even 1 billion, if let's say 10 million gets invested into some, micro capped altcoin, that's going to cause 1000x in the matter of, couple of days, and that's going to be actually life-changing opportunity for a lot of people out there. And if somebody, picks up the right project that has the right team, that actually has the utility behind the token, that those projects right there, those projects actually have a great potential to actually succeed during this upcoming alt season.
Yeah, and there's something you didn't mention that I just thought of when you said, you mentioned it earlier, but something occurred to me about that. Microsoft will have vetted you, I assume, because they don't, as a large corporation, they will have all sorts of risk management people that do all sorts of analysis, and they'll have all sorts of business experts and crypto experts and this expert and that expert. So am I right in assuming that you went through a vetting process by them?
Yes, of course they have to. They have to do that. They because as you mentioned, they are a huge company, and they don't want to be associated with any type of project. Okay, because I think that would be looking very bad if they actually back a project and that project turns out to be some kind of scam.
Yes,
that would be very difficult for them. So yes, obviously, they have to do that. A whole team is doxed. There's nothing anonymous about us. Everything is out there. Our community is also very engaging. Any questions, we're always out there. So yes, the most important thing, as you mentioned, in crypto industry, there's a lot of talk about, privacy and animosity, anonymity.
Yes.
The whole team has been doxxed, and anybody who has any doubts about our team, everything is out there in the open.
Okay. Yeah. And you said that they don't want to be associated with any scams. They don't want to be associated with any possible failures. Like they will have taken a calculated risk.
Yes.
But okay, we think
course.
this one is good. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
that's
As you mentioned earlier, they most likely operate on a VC, like the VC operate, and they select their projects very carefully, and they've seen in Biokript, that there's a great potential for us to actually change and help the industry the way it is right now, and that's basically why we are here right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, just going back to the Bitcoin price. I can get 250,000 as a psychological measure that people think, okay, that's $250,000. I will cash out. But people like Plan B, he reckons with his stock to flow model, something like $450,000 to $500,000 this cycle.
Yes.
Any commentary on that?
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, my range was from 250 to 500,000. So,
Right.
but I believe once we hit 250,000, a lot of people, they are going to start cashing out. So it all depends now on those big whales, and as you mentioned, BlackRock and other institutions that are actually holding a large number of bitcoins. Because unfortunately, they have a way to manipulate the market, and if they start, dumping, the rest of them could be dumping as well. But either way, there's going to be so much profit to be made that, even 250 or 500,000, that still doesn't matter. If somebody, for example, bought Bitcoin where it was like 60,000, and if they only bought one Bitcoin, that's basically, it's not 60, it's about 250,000 right now. So if they let's say still, keep half of it and reinvest the other half into the altcoins, there's going to be a huge amount of money flowing back into the altcoins.
Yes. And then I'm going to share with you a wild altcoin story, and you may have one yourself, right? So in April 2017, I bought 250,000 XVG coins, Verge. 250,000. Cost me $30.
Okay.
I was a big player, right? It went up to I think $92,000 in January 2018.
And when did you buy it?
I bought it for $30. April 2017. It went up to $92,000 in January 2018.
So about 8-9 months.
Yeah, it was insane. Now, this was my first proper bull run cycle, and my wife told me to sell, and I didn't until it had dropped to $1,200.
Wow. Well, you're still up about 40x.
Yeah.
Still good.
Still good. Anything you want to share like that, if you've had any sort of experience, just to give people an idea of what's possible with microcap altcoins?
Yes, basically, in 2016, I also invested in a project. It didn't go up as much, but probably about 10x.
What project was that?
It was open platform.
Right.
Yes, open platform, and they had a big raise out there, and they made a lot of promises, and they went out of business right now. But the thing is, as you mentioned, there's huge potential over here. and especially for the small cap tokens, because just imagine just one whale could change the outcome of the whole project. If you think about it, and and we're not even talking about millions or billions. For a small, let's say, token that has a market cap of, let's say, 1 million.
Mhm.
Okay, one whale comes in and invests, let's say, $100,000. That's gonna, the chart is gonna go parabolic, and there's a lot of bots, a lot of other people who are actually following the charts. They're gonna start, jumping in, and there's gonna be probably another maybe $1 million that's gonna be flowing into that token. In the matter of days, that token is gonna go up with 20, 30, 50x. And I'm telling you, during this altcoin season, we are going to see a lot of projects like that.
Yes, and that this is not guaranteed, and this is not financial advice, but that could be possible with BIOK, BIOK, which is the Biokript token. Adnan, anything you want to say before we finish up?
No, I think, as I mentioned, the cryptocurrency industry, there's a lot of risks, but there's also a lot of potential, huge potential, especially if you carefully select the project that you want to work with. And the most important thing that I want to advise anybody over here, there are a lot of scammers out there. Since there's a huge potential in this industry, a lot of scammers, a lot of malicious people are actually trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I would highly advise anybody in the industry to be highly skeptical, whenever they're investing. It doesn't matter where, to check out the project, to check out the team, to check out the utility, to check out the roadmap. And the most important thing is this, always, never invest blindly in any project. Because a lot of people, they see the chart going up, and they just, they start investing.
Yep.
That's basically like gambling. They don't even know the team, they don't even know, what the project is about, but they see the huge green candle, 2x, 5x, 10x. But a lot of people, they don't understand that those tokens are easy manipulated, by those, malicious people. So always check out the team, check out the projects, verify whatever you can verify, and never invest blindly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And despite my longevity in this field, I'm guilty of what you've said. But then I don't put in a lot. I might throw in $50 into some crazy meme coin, but I'm willing to lose that $50, right? But what you're saying is absolutely, absolutely wise. If people want to reach out to you, they can do so through the Telegram group, and you can get the Telegram group or X, well, of course, by clicking on Adnan's icon. But for people who are watching this or listening to this later, biokript.com. So go check that out. And Adnan, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you coming on and having this conversation. And I look forward to speaking to you at some point again.
Yes, Rich, thank you very much for having me. It was always a pleasure talking to you. And please stay connected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Watch out for the next space, which I think is next. Let me just check. I think it's next Saturday. Next Saturday, we'll have another fabulous guest looking at the world of crypto or money or gold or finance, 5 p.m. UK time, courtesy of thecoinrepublic.com. This is Crypto Rich and Adnan Biokript signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.